Hi, it's Lon with Walkin Rollin Costumes. I'm here to show the newest costume we've built for a child in California. This is the John Deere Cotton Picker, the CP770. So here is the latest invention that we've come up with. This costume is sponsored by Heritage Tractor here in Olathe, Kansas. And they are a John Deere dealership here. And so they helped us with a lot of the logos and actual John Deere paint and a few other little bonus features that we'll talk about as this video goes on. Okay, two pieces that you're going to find are like this. These are 3D printed pieces that we at Walkin Rollin Costumes created to help our costumes attach to a wheelchair. So we're going to send you these. They have little grooves along the edge, both sides, and that's so that zip ties can go through and come out the other side. This open side is what's going to go along the wheelchair, pipes of the wheelchair, and the zip ties will hold it in place. And then this other piece back here that's open, it's closed on the bottom, the costume will slide down in there and gravity will just hold them in place. So where we have them on the actual wheelchair, this is not the chair that it's going on, but this is a duplicate. So we already have them installed here in the front of the wheelchair. And as you can see, they can spin a little bit to give you a little give when the costume is attaching. But they're just zip tied on the back, got one on each side, and the whole front header of the costume is going to slide down into these, and that'll hold them in place.
Okay, so the next thing we have are the two halves of the cotton picker header. And there's a left and a right side. There's reflectors out in the front. There's the little yellow triangles out in the front as well. So you want to put these together, and we have little screw joints that will actually attach all these joints together. And you just screw them together. All of the joints have been labeled with letters on the little blue tape. So you connect A to A, B to B, C to C, etc. So you just screw them together. And once you get them all put together, this top one does not actually have a screw. It just kind of slides together and is held together with friction. Once you get all the others, then there is the front of the cotton picker header. Now you have these extra extrudes that go out in front. There's 3 extras that will go in between the 2 that are on the edges. And they are labeled. So each one is labeled, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So the ones that are already on the header are number 1 and 5. And then you'll see that all these others, there's a number 2. And so they just go in order. So starting with 1, put 2 on next. And they connect into the top T joint. There isn't a joint in the bottom. So you just put it in the top T joint. Slide it up as far as you can. And there's a screw hole in the back in which you'll attach with a screwdriver. Put the screw into that little hole to lock those extrudes in place. So this is the second, or the third, number 3 is going in the middle. And then number 4 is the last one to go in. And once you get those all in and screwed in together, you want to adjust them slightly so that they all line up. But this is how it all goes together. And they all do move a little bit. You can pivot them a little bit in order to get them at the right angle. And there you go. That is the front header. Okay, so now we're going to start on the back of the cotton picker. This is the first piece to start with. It's the largest piece. The handle that is on the left-hand side, we did have to detach in order to ship it. So there are some white screw joints that attach that together. So attach that back on. They are not labeled, but the rest of the joints are labeled. All the green ones are. And you'll just want to line up the different pieces. There's a lot of pieces here, so pay attention to the blue tape to make sure you get the right piece to go with the right section. And you're just going to line them up. Not sure what I'm talking about there. And you screw these together. This is the very top of the bin in the cotton picker. Once you get those four, that kind of gives you a general size of how big the cotton picker is from the top half. Now we're going to find the next piece that goes down. Make sure you look at the labels to see where they go. This is the little L-shaped one. So we're going to kind of lay this on its side in order to find where it connects. So we're just going to connect those. Now, once you get the entire costume connected, feel free to take off the blue tape. It is just there to help you put it together after shipping. But once it's together, you don't have to take it completely apart if you need to store it or put it in a car to take it somewhere. But the blue tape is merely just because there's a lot of pieces when we ship it, and that way you have a better idea on what goes where. Now these smaller parts, they're a 1/2-inch pipe there, about 6 inches long. Those are going to be the part that goes into the actual wheelchair on the back of the wheelchair. So that's why they're a little scraped up, because they actually slide down into a metal part of the wheelchair, but they aren't seen once they are in the wheelchair. So you're going to attach those in the front of the bin. Try and get those all attached in there. Once those are screwed together, okay, now we just need the back part, which is going to include the caster wheels and a movable arm in the back. That's a support leg for the caster wheels. So you've got the two labels. On one end, you're going to attach them on the back. Now you'll notice that the other side does not have screw joints, and that's because there's the piece that has the actual caster wheels are going to go in there. And these had to come apart in order to fit in boxes for shipping, but they can be screwed together if you need them to. Once you set these in, this is a little bit of a tighter fit. Might have been easier to put the wheels in before we put that last piece on, but it's okay. It still goes together. So once you get those in, you kind of just push them together. Now you're going to take this movable leg, and it's actually going to be the brace that attaches there. You might have to use a rubber hammer, rubber mallet or something to kind of slam those together. But that joint right there, the T joint that's labeled T, those use the 2 silver screws that are in the bag of screws. All the rest of the screws are the same, but there's 2 silver ones that are different. Those 2 are used on that T, joint labeled T. That locks it in place, and now you have the entire bin, back half of the costume. So now we're going to show you how to attach it to the wheelchair, I believe. I'm still talking. All right. So now we're putting it on the wheelchair. So we have the header first, has the 2 arms that go down at a 90-degree angle. Those are going to slide onto those 3D printed joints that you attach to the wheelchair. I will say this is sometimes a little easier to do with 2 people, just because they are a tight fit on purpose. and you have to get them in straight in, or they kind of get stuck as they go. So you just want to be sure and push them all the way down. There you go, like that. And then that kind of locks that into the front. It's on caster wheels, so it turns as the child turns in their chair, and it's ready to go. Now we take the back half and we bring it around to the back. Now, according to the measurements of the child's chair, this chair that we are using in this video was not the same height, so we had to add a couple white pieces right there that you can see. Those were not included in the shipping because that was just to make an adjustment. You want where the armrests connect to the back of the wheelchair. Take the armrests out and put the costume down in those two spots with those two 1/2-inch pipes that are a little scraped in the front. That's why, is because they drop down into those two. But once it goes in there, then it's on the wheels and you're good to go. One thing that you can do that I don't think I talk about in the video is you can attach a bungee cord or something to the back bar of the wheelchair, which helps connect it.
These are another invention by Walkin Rollin Costumes. These are wheel covers attachments, so that our custom-made wheel covers can attach to your child's wheelchair. So there's little notches along the edge that you see, and they are so that zip ties can go in and attach them to the spokes of the wheelchair. I've already got one attached here, so you can see what it looks like. It's got 5 zip ties around, and then I put a piece of Velcro across the center. And you want to be sure when you're installing them, kind of tighten the zip ties as you go. You don't want to tighten the first one really tight and then try and do the others. You want to try and kind of tighten them all together at the same time to keep it centered in the wheel. Then we have our wheel cover that's like a John Deere tractor tire combine wheel, and it's got a piece of Velcro on the back. So it's a very simple process of just attaching it to the Velcro, and there you go. And then it will roll with the wheel on it. Okay, so now we're going to start putting on the panels onto the sides of the cotton picker so that it doesn't look just like a PVC frame anymore. This first piece we're going to put on, they're all labeled. This is the back side of the header. So it's going to go right back here. And the holes are already drilled in there. Screws will be provided. So all you'll need to do, and this is where you are probably going to want a motorized drill just to help with the process go a lot quicker. But you're just going to screw these all in. Got 2 on the other side. And we'll cut until I get that finished. So now we're putting on the side panels. They have the 3D printed John Deere logo. Left side of header, I've already put the right side of the header. The left and right is determined based on if you're sitting in the chair. So if you're sitting in the chair, this is the left side. So we're going to put these on the left side. So now we're putting on the side panels that actually say CP 770 for cotton picker 770. On the back they say, left of bin or right of bin. I've already got the right side on, so we're putting the left side on now. Last 2 pieces, we have the top, which says top of bin, and it goes with the yellow circle towards the front. I'm going to screw those in real quick. Just line up with the holes. Ow. I can also speed this up. Yeah. And then the last piece is the back, which has the reflectors and the slow moving vehicle sign. And that covers up everything back here. And there you go. Those are all the skins, all the sides and panels that go on the costume of the CP 770 John Deere cotton picker. Now, all that's left is the decoration. So, one thing that every cotton picker needs is a cotton bale. This is going to set right down in here. Might have to kind of adjust the cotton a little bit. This bar back here actually serves as a parent handle so that the parent can drive the costume around with the child. And then some other pieces that we have. We have these 4 tubes that, just like on the actual cotton picker, they thread or send the cotton from the header into the bin in the back. And they go directly into these tubes. And right up in here. Like so. And we'll do that for all 4 of them. Here we go. Now we're going to install the back wheels and axle for the John Deere cotton picker. Now, back here we have these little metal brackets on both sides. It's very simple. You just thread the axle through those. Put the other wheel on the other side. Now there's a hole drilled in. You just use a little, kind of like a cotter pin, and slide it through to lock it in place. And there you go. Those are the back wheels. Now, we also have a speaker. It's going to be loaded with all kinds of music that has to do with harvesting, with farming, any type of music we could come across. So that installs right here in the center, so the child can listen to the music. Last thing, since this is a Halloween costume and it'll be probably used at night, we have lights that we have installed for the costume at night. And they're all just Velcro battery-operated lights. We have 4 places that they go. Put one up here by the mirrors. Got one on each side. And then we have 2 down front. Now these are just tap lights. And if you tap them multiple times, they change colors. Get them to the white. And then we also provided the child with a remote, so he can actually sit here and change them whatever color he wants them blue, or if he likes to keep them white, he can do that. He can also turn them all off if he'd like, and back on. And this remote will be right next to the speaker, so he can control that at any time and not lose track of it. So I would like to thank Heritage Tractor for sponsoring this costume. They did a great job. They donated $1,000 to Walkin Rollin Costumes. Thank you very much to Heritage Tractor. We added their name. They are a John Deere dealership here in Olathe, Kansas. So we have Heritage Tractor featured on the costume. So thank you very much to them. Also, all of the 3D printed joints and attachments that we talked about while building this costume, including the mirrors that attach into a 3/4 inch PVC joint. Those are all designed by experienced builders from Walkin Rollin Costumes, and they're all available for free on our website at walkinrollin.org/resources. We provide blueprints for costumes like this, as well as all kinds of different resource material to help you build a costume like this. Thanks for watching.